Welcome, everybody, to Epilogue. It's me, Russell Johnson again. Jamie's out, and so it's a hostile takeover one more week. So thanks for joining us. I've got the Freemans with us. Miles, Jennifer, married 30 years. Congratulations.
Thank you.
30 years at the end of May. I'll give you 29 and 11 months.
That's right.
That's
So,
right.
That's right.
Good
Almost
stuff.
there.
Been a part of the church for how
Over
long?
25 years.
Wow.
Since 99.
99.
Fantastic. We've been talking about families, and here recently we talked about parenting. And so we thought, hey, love to have you guys on, talk about it. You have some proof in the pudding. 4 daughters. Talk about them.
Lots of estrogen. Yes.
Just a little. Just a little bit. That's great.
We've got 4 girls. Our oldest is Caroline, and she's almost 22. And then we've got Georgia, who is 19. And then we've got our the caboose, or the grand finale, as we like to say, the twins, Charlotte and Ginger. They're 17.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Caroline's a junior up at Texas A&M University. And then Georgia followed her there. She's a freshman, getting ready to both finish the junior and freshman year. And then the twins are juniors, getting ready to finish their junior year in high school.
That's right.
So I have twins. My question to you, I mean, it was a pretty big deal for us. If we'd have had the twins first, I'm not so sure there would be a Milton, Caleb, Noel. Are y'all in the same boat?
Yes, we agree with you.
Okay.
We call that the dark year.
We
don't remember
that
the first year.
Yeah,
that's right.
Just went blank.
It's
4
just,
under 4. We went from a man to a crazy zone.
we did.
It was
Crazy zone. That's exactly right. It was
man to man to zone overnight.
It was
That's
a hard year. Hard year.
Good year.
Awesome.
But
Good
hard
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I just wanted to I feel kind of bad when I say that, but then it's just nice to know that somebody else with twins would say the same
But
thing.
you know now, with what Kenneth and Douglas are doing, it's so much fun.
It is. It's
it's
super
blast.
fun.
Right.
Yes.
It's unique.
Yeah.
And so
It is.
we do enjoy that uniqueness and fun.
They do. They
Good.
add a lot of spice.
They
They're
do.
so fun. Yeah.
Spice. That's good. It's a nice way to say it.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, cool. Let's jump in. I
Okay.
sent you guys some questions just to talk about parenting and struggles and wins and all kinds of stuff. So first thing I sent you was, what's something you are glad you did as a parent with your girls?
So I got a little list here. We read a lot of books. I recommend reading a lot of books. We read through the Bible a bunch, different kinds of Bibles, children Bibles. And then we read a lot of missionary biographies.
Okay.
And those were some of the they were some of the best conversations we had as families. The other thing, I as a dad, I managed bath time most days, and it gave me a chance to bond with the girls. It also gave Mama a good hour plus to herself to kind of regroup from the day. As a guy, I took ownership with outings with the girls. I was the parent that drove Awana for all our girls, got involved in Awana.
He did.
Did all the books for Awana with the girls, camping,
Nice.
zoo trips, a lot of exercise and playtime.
Very hands-on.
Very hands-on in that regard. So guys, I encourage you to do that. We were strict on technology. We kind of had Jennifer will talk a little bit more about that. She's got some better words than I did, but we were strict on technology. And then we really encoured sports and activities.
Yeah, be involved in something.
Be involved in stuff.
Yeah.
I agree. And the only thing I would add to that is one thing we did do, and I was thankful we got to do this, was we made it a priority. We did Pine Cove Family Camp every year. So we're on our 16th year of that.
Wow.
And so that was a awesome thing for us to do. It kind of reset us each year spiritually, kind of we're able to talk about what our family themes were going to be for the year, set new spiritual goals. And it also gave our girls a real picture of seeing a bunch of college kids who were just crazy in love with Jesus, chasing after him, and how fun that was. And to the point now where they're counselors and they're pursuing that. And so that was something that we made a priority, and I'm glad we did that. So
agreed. The other thing that Jennifer did a great job with the girls on the technology piece was we were very open and deliberate about telling the girls, hey, you're going to be one of the last, if not the last in your class with the phone.
Hmm.
You're going to be the
we
last.
were late to the party on all that
Yeah,
stuff.
you're going to be late to the party on this. So just get ready.
Yeah.
And so that dialogue helped them.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. There is something about having our children understand that just because 30 other kids in your class or however many's in a class, or 100 or 400, everybody's doing this, and this, or has this, and this, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the rules we follow.
That's correct.
Right.
We follow a different set of rules.
Right.
And so, yeah, having that conversation's a good thing.
And
Agreed.
just trying to get them to buy into an understanding that these are the parents that God gave you and there's a purpose in that. And do you trust that? And knowing that we have your best interest in mind and God's been so sweet about that, because now on the other side, I've got my older two who are telling the twins, no, be glad mom and dad did that. Thank y'all for doing that, and that's just God's grace that it's been that way. So I'm thankful. They didn't say that
at the
right
time.
at the beginning. So.
Yeah, I'm living some of that right now.
You are.
We're late to the bus on the phones and stuff too.
That's
So
okay. Keep going, Russell.
I'll hold out as long as I can. I want to tell them every time you ask, that just means it's at least another year.
I know.
Exactly.
And then I want to say, you can't bring your lunchbox home. Why am I going to give you an $800 phone?
Wow.
So
That's good. I'm going to use that one. I had one guy tell me, he goes, if the device is smarter than you are, then you're not ready for it.
That's right.
Correct. I like that.
that may be all of us, but
That's good. What's something you wish you could go back and redo?
So
we
there
kind of
were-
have a similar answer on some of
so
this.
there were times when I disciplined when I was angry, and I wish those moments didn't exist.
Yeah.
And I would say sticking to parenting the heart issues and not the behavior or actions
Mhm.
was a check that I still, I did it probably more mentally then, but I do still today.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And I would agree. Same thing. There were some times that I parented out of anger, and I wish I would have liked to have done that differently. And just majoring on the minors, as I was kind of say, some things that in the scheme of things, probably didn't mean a whole lot, and just wanting the behavior and not necessarily focusing on the heart issues. I wish I had done a little bit of that differently.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm asking myself same question, that'd be it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just take a little rabbit trail here. I know this isn't going to be on your script.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Here we go.
Let's talk about. There was always a piece of me that when there was disobedience or blatant disrespect, that some of that should have some anger with it.
Mhm.
Like a righteous indignation to it.
right.
And so I always struggled with, I need you to understand the severity of what we've got here.
Mhm.
Because what we're doing you didn't break a house rule,
Right.
where the house rule is, we don't get milk after 9 o'clock or something silly like that. Man, we were disrespectful to mom or disrespectful to dad, or you said you were going to do something and you lied. And so at that point, that was where I had a hard time of like, I need you to know this is worth some righteous indignation, some justified anger.
Right.
But then also not disciplining out of that emotion.
Mhm.
Right.
Really, man, I found that line to be incredibly tricky.
It
Well,
is.
it's
Yeah.
tricky. And Jennifer was probably more skilled at it than I was, honestly.
I don't know.
But what we would find probably for sure for me was the anger out of block goals, right? I got a goal for this day, this activity, this whatever, and I got a couple of little ones that are blocking it, and now I'm ticked.
Mm.
And
And it distracts from the issue. I
it
mean, then
does. It distracts from
what
that,
you're
yeah.
trying to parent, all of a sudden now you're angry, and then I'm apologizing and everything. And it distracts from the original issue of what you're
Right.
trying to parent.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're right about the righteous, and there's a realness, right? There's a relationship part of that with your kid. They need to know, to your point, when it's serious, when it is appropriate for you to be upset with them.
Yeah.
There are those moments, and they start getting that. They get that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Makes me feel good. I'm like, okay, I'm not the only one that's
No.
what I'd redo.
No. Yeah. No, that's it.
Yeah. What's been a key practice to help raise your girls in the discipline and instruction of the Lord? That was in the passage, the Ephesians 6 passage. So, you just mentioned some of it a minute ago, reading the Bible, missionary biographies. I love that. Pine Cove. What are some other things that you guys have done?
I think first and foremost, just realizing, taking ownership of the fact that, okay, this is Miles and this is our responsibility. Yes, we go to an awesome church, and my kids even get to go to a Christian school, and if they can come alongside and partner in some of that, awesome. But this is really the responsibility that the Lord has given us. And so along with that, just being very intentional in pursuing that, whether that be with family devotions or serving together. We used to get all our girls, they were still little, and we would all serve in a Sunday school class in the kids area, all 6 of us. We took up half the Sunday school class, doing that class together, serving together, or going on mission trips together.
We thought we were helping them. I'm not sure we were.
Yeah, we probably weren't. They were probably great. Here comes the Freemans. And just, just taking ownership in that. And then also just living out the Deuteronomy 6 when you're just talking about it all the time, just, using examples of how does this align with God's word? How does this not align with God's word? What do y'all see here? And just, but I think just realizing from the get-go that this is our responsibility as parents and nobody else's. So taking ownership of that.
I like it.
Yeah. So for me, one of the key ways is the girls know that I'm in the Word every day. I get up real early, so they don't always see that.
Yeah,
but there's remnants of it.
Yeah,
they know it. I'm quick to apologize. I pursue them with my time, energy, and words. We talk often, as Jennifer said, about the Lord, what's going on in my life, what's going on in your life, what's going on in their lives, but also teaching them to look out, look at others. The Lord's looking out after everybody else, right? And so, and then also, as you mentioned, Jennifer, to serve. And we've always found as a family that when we're serving, we're not as selfish, we're not as critical, we're not as introspective. And so we try to model that for them and ultimately model Jesus as best we can.
Be a part of that as much as possible. So.
Yeah, that's good. Love the word responsibility. I think, especially when it comes to parenting and it comes to the spiritual development of our children and the discipleship of our children, right? I think that is our responsibility as parents to do that. Obviously, I hope I'm doing that outside of my family, but I got 5 that I need to be discipling and helping them do that, and that is a responsibility. Right. So, I like hearing you say that.
We've had, she had a doctor years ago that talked about, he had a phrase that our family was our first mission field. And that's always kind of stuck. And it's true.
Yes.
I mean, it's really true. So,
and I think too, just letting people hear also that, and it's going to be messy and it's going to be inconsistent, and his mercies are new every morning, and you get back up and you keep doing it and try it again, because it's not always pretty. And we've had some family devotions that you're like, this is
train wreck.
Wow, this is
so y'all's are not all perfect.
No, not really.
But you keep
y'all
doing
are helping me out here. Y'all are helping me
Not
big
so
time.
much.
This is good.
We've had some we've had to disband, and everybody
go to their own corner. No,
Yeah, that's right.
So
me
anyhow.
too. It's good to know y'all are. Man, this is so encouraging for me right now.
I feel good. Feel good.
That's great. Positional authority, relational authority. So when we talk about parenting, that's 0 to 8, all position, pick them up, move them. Like they need to know what our word means. And then as they get older, relational authority, we have influence, not because of our size and position, but we have influence because we've built relationship.
Yes.
So that relational authority. Talk about as your girls are now on the upper end of that. You're not picking them up and putting them anywhere, or at least I hope not.
It would be hard. One of them's 6 foot. Yeah, it'd be hard.
Yeah. And I think they could outrun you.
I know they can.
No, they can.
So talk about how you guys have seen that change from positional to relational.
So for us, we had some great mentors when we were new marrieds here without children. Mark and Cindy Albers were great advisors to us in the class, and I never will forget one of the things that Mark said that has been so true was about the positional authority was physically move your child when needed. You know, no words, no anger, just physically move them. And he was so right about that. And I use that parenting a lot, not as an enforcer or to be.
But this is the boundaries. This is what we're going to do.
This is what we're going to do. It's non-negotiable. When I'm moving, it's non-negotiable.
It's good.
So,
so I would say early on, it was very hands-on to go along with that, I would say. And just, establishing boundaries. And we used to say, okay, we obey all the way, right away, with a happy heart kind of thing. And just how when you're obeying us, you're under the umbrella protection of the Lord, and just stressing those things and emphasizing those things. But now seeing that turn, it's just been so sweet with the Lord. Just, I feel like now, instead of they actually want our advice, and they're going into more of a counselor type role and giving them more freedom with that. But even last week, my 22-year-old calling me and saying, hey, I'm getting ready to have a tough conversation with somebody. Can we role play this? Or what do you think I should say? And so just seeing how that is starting to change, it's really fun and just sweet.
Great.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and for me, for dads, I'd say, on the relational side of authority, it is with all girls. It's very normal for our girls to go to Jennifer first for most relational stuff. But being very involved in them with them, right, with their lives, it does allow me. I kind of looked at it as I was building a bridge. I'm kind of building a bridge to their heart, and I want that relationship to go, to be intact. And so, although I probably don't get as much relational conversation as Jennifer does, when I do get it, my antenna goes off, and I make sure I dial in and
if you get a
pay
phone
attention.
Call, you stop everything.
I do,
and you make sure that you're talking to them.
That's right.
Ready
That's
for
right.
that call.
That's right.
I agree. So
It's good. Yeah, I'm on the front end of some of that. I mean, I'm about halfway between size and position and relational with the twins. And I can still pick them up and move them.
Yeah, you're right in that X.
Yeah, I'm right
there.
Right in the crosshairs. I feel bad for them, but that's the way it works. But it is fun with my older ones to go to a meal and talk and to talk it just at a different level.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And for there to be like, they want to hear your thoughts. They want to hear how you're processing something or how they could process it differently. And yeah, you got to do a lot of hard work up front to get to that spot.
You do.
You do.
And I'll tell you, Russell, like we were on spring break, we got to get away as a family, and we were in a really cool place, lots of stuff to do. The best part of the whole trip was every meal night. The conversations we had around the dinner table,
and just talking, and
just
all the memories, and remember when this happened and this happened, and but
to your point,
it took a lot of time.
Conversation it gets sweeter and sweeter.
It
good.
Did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hit me prepping this week that most of my relationship with my children will be as adults.
You said that on Sunday.
Yeah.
And that I'd never heard that. And we talked about that. I was like, he's right on.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
So do the hard work for 18 years so that you can enjoy
absolutely
whatever you got on the back end for sure. 18 or 20 or 40 or it's pretty cool.
Agreed.
Yeah. Biggest challenge you faced?
Well, school decisions were really difficult, and we didn't see that coming as a young couple. There's the decisions were challenging, and there's advantages and disadvantages to all your choices. And as Jennifer kind of mentioned, it really becomes how involved you.
Well, I think there's so many more choices now too, so you're really get fixated on, oh gosh, I got to make exactly the right one, and but getting to a place where you realize nothing's perfect and everything has got issues, and just but being willing to. I think the biggest thing, whether you're doing homeschool, public, private, is you just got to be involved.
Got to stay involved.
You just have to be involved.
Absolutely.
That's the big thing. So, and then I would say technology too. I mean, that is hard. I think it's hard because you have to make sure you're on the same page with technology and just learning how to manage that. And like I said, getting their buy-in.
That's been some of our biggest fights.
It has been because
technology.
And I thought you were taking care of that, and you should know how to do this, and I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, we've had some zingers.
I know, just trying to manage that, but and getting their buy-in that we're going to be late on some of this stuff, whether it be just getting the phone in general or some of the social media and that kind of thing. Again, y'all need to trust that God gave us as parents to you guys, and that we have your best interests at heart. And that's been sweet because I've seen my older ones come back and say, "Thanks, you were right. I'm glad that we got this later." And just them thanking us. It took a little bit to get there, but that's a hard thing to manage, especially when you're a little bit countercultural in your decisions on that. So anyhow.
The other thing, and I think you probably get this too, Russell, with your 5, is as a dude growing up, you don't think a whole lot about having children until you have them. At least I didn't. And then when you have them, you kind of think they're all going to be alike. Well, it turns out they're not. And so, having 4 girls and trying to be intentional with time and love and
different personalities.
So for me, for being intentional and respectful to them, and yet really connect, it's different with every single one of them.
How they connect.
How they all 4 connect with us, with me, is very different, and it's great, but it's a challenge to figure that out.
You're pursuing 5 women. It's not easy.
It's not easy. It's not
when
cheap
you say
either.
it like that, man.
It's not cheap either.
That's right. I could take my boys to the Waffle House, and they thought it was great. Nah, it ain't gonna work with some ladies. That's great. Just to piggyback just a tad. Obviously, I mentioned house rules earlier. For my kids, we had to go over, what might be bedtime at our house is a house rule. What's bedtime at somebody else's house is their house rule. It doesn't make it right or wrong. They're just different.
Right.
And some of that is true with technology.
Right.
So your friends have the latest iPhone, and they get the latest iPhone every year. That's a house rule for them. I can't go to chapter and verse and say that's wrong.
Right.
And I don't want to try to. So for us to just try to help process through, this is how we do it. And just because someone else does it in something that's not moral, it's not a biblical issue, doesn't make it right or wrong. This is just what Mom and I have come up with, and we think this is what's best for you. And I think the same would be true for schooling decisions.
Absolutely.
Where somebody might look at their children, and I know families that would say, my oldest is a public school kid, but my second one really needs something more that a private school could give. And then a third one, they could go either way. So we kind of let them make a decision.
Right.
And then some people are all, man, we're just going to homeschool till this age or all the way through. But just recognizing those are house rules, they're decisions that have to be made, and a lot of times based on convictions of families and also just personalities, learning abilities of children, and all of that. Is that when you talk about challenges of schooling, is that some of the stuff you mean?
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, exactly.
And we have done a Christian school, but we have friends in all different type of schooling. And, but I've even heard somebody say you almost have to be more vigilant when you put your kids in a Christian school situation, just because you might, again, I might want to take off the gas and coast a little bit, because I think, oh, they're getting everything they need here. But again, I think wherever they're at is you just have to be involved and in tune and just, purposeful and everything. But for sure, I think different decisions based on different needs for kids and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Favorite parenting story?
Well, I'll go first here. We so one of the house rules for us has been from the girls when they're little is to protect the weak. Look out and be aware. You kind of talked about this a little bit in Sunday in your message with your kids, but it's be aware who needs protection, what's going on around you,
Who needs a friend.
So I got a story that was told by one of the sisters one day.
We can't say who.
We can't say who. They
we'll
asked us not
protect
to
that.
say who,
Okay.
but one of the sisters came in the house and told a story about how one of the other sisters, there was some boys at the park, and one of the boys started picking on another boy, and so one of our girls pinned him on the ground and wouldn't let him get up till he had apologized because he wasn't being nice.
Protecting the weak.
Protecting the weak.
Yes. And so we congratulated her on that. Well, that is great. Now, we may want to go over some of the tactics that used. I'm not sure pinning somebody to the ground.
Rear naked choke, headlock,
Exactly.
arm bar.
We love what you did.
Yeah.
She got 85-90% of it right.
She did, yes.
So that's one of them because they took ownership of that, right? And that was really cool. The second one I got is a fun story. Is most of our girls played basketball, and one time they were in a league game, not in a school game, but in a league game, and
with a very good team. They were getting beat pretty good.
They were getting thrashed pretty good, and this team was talking a lot of smack to them, and we hear later that
an unnamed daughter,
we heard later from a friend said, "Oh, you should have heard the comeback," and it was, "The pride cometh before the falleth."
Oh yeah. Well, pride cometh before the falleth, and I was like, "Oh, trash talking King James version."
Let's go.
Wow. We may need to work on our trash talk. I think they just looked at her like, I think
I've watched a little
you've
basketball.
seen it, yeah.
I think I've seen some pretty
No
good.
longer King James version.
No.
Yeah, those are a couple wins right there for me.
Yeah.
Good. What about you?
Oh, golly. I just, well, yours are pretty good. Mine is actually not my best moment parenting. So I'll make everybody feel better. But so when we had finally gotten a house and gotten through all our babies and all the spit up all over the couch and the sofa and everything, and we decided we are going to buy a new sofa and 2 new chairs. And this is the first time I got curtains that were specially made for these windows. I was so excited. And we were outside teaching somebody to ride a bike. And then I may give her name up, our oldest went inside. And so after I went to check on, she'd been in there a while, and I came in and the house, it had this smell. I was like, what is that? And then she said, Mama, I helped you. I was like, what'd you do? She got Clorox cleaner with bleach and sprayed it all over our new bright red sofa, all over the chairs, all the curtains. They were massive bleach marks on everything. And I would like to tell you that I just took her in my arms and just said, oh, honey, thank you. But I think I fell to my knees and started sobbing is what actually happened.
I think that's what it was.
My brand new
I think that's how I
sofa.
found you. I think that's how I found her when I came in.
So
crumpled on the floor in tears.
Yeah, if I had to do it over, I wouldn't have cared quite as much about the sofa. But at the time,
We still got that sofa.
we did. We just flipped the cushions over, and it
Brilliant.
Yes, and it worked. It was great.
Brilliant.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh man, those are fun. Golly, you're making me think of some fun ones. I'll tell you one. Can I tell you one?
Yes,
It's
yes.
probably not my best moment, but you've seen me coach basketball.
Oh, yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I had the twins, and we had a terrible team. We were getting run all the time, and we're losing by 40. It's the second half. I'm just trying to get all the guys on the bench equal playing time. And Douglas, he hits a mid-range shot. It's a pretty little shot. I mean, it goes in, and he holds his hand up like the follow through, and he looks around, and he wants everybody to see that he's just had this shot. And at that point, as dad, I'm like, I lose my mind. So I go onto the court in transition. I go onto the court. And it's rec league basketball. Everyone can hear everything you say.
Oh, right.
And I look at him and I said, buddy, you better put your hand down. We're losing by 40, and you just act like you hit a game winner in game 7 of the championship. Yeah. If I see it again, you're going to be sitting on the bench with me. The gym goes quiet.
Silent.
My wife's over she's just wanting to say that's his son. He can talk to him that way. Anyway,
One of your great moments.
Yeah. So needless to say, when we have those reminiscing stories, that's one
That'll
comes
come
up.
back. That'll come back.
Everybody kind of at the table puts their hand up. Hey, Douglas, remember that? Anyway, so.
That's funny.
Fun.
I love that.
Final question.
Mhm.
What's your word of encouragement for young parents? They're in the grind. They're barely got their nose above water.
Well, what I was kind of going along a little bit earlier, just knowing it's messy and it's inconsistent and it's exhausting. But again, his mercies are new every morning. You get up every day and you start over again. You've got a new day. And it's a long game. I mean, it is. It's a long game. But the rewards and the blessings, I mean, that we are starting to see, they are just so sweet of just, and this is probably really honestly one of my most favorite times of parenting. I mean, we love being together, hanging out together. Like I said, kind of transitioning to that counselor role, and just, they actually want to know what we have to think and what to say. And so I would just say, it's worth it. It just is, and that you just want to think long term. And God is just so good to reward and give blessings on that. So that's
good.
Jennifer and I had very similar answers here. So for guys, I think it's important. Just do the next thing. As a parent, just do the next thing. You got to give your children grace, you got to give your wife grace, and you got to give yourself grace. So just get on with doing the next thing.
And I think we said learning to say you're sorry.
That's right. Learn to say you're sorry a lot.
And I've said that, like, I am so sorry. Mama needs Jesus as much or more than anybody. But I think that there's been great, conversations that have come from that too.
Keep a long-term focus. Keep the focus real long. And the other thing I'd say is, guys especially, is don't quit. Don't quit.
Finish well.
Stick with it. Finish well.
It's hard to
Most
do.
people don't finish well. So try to do everything you can to finish well.
And laugh a lot and have some
Laugh
fun.
a lot along the way. Yeah. Yeah, we laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Love that. That's good. Mercies are new every morning. Yeah. The young parents, you're listening to it. You're tapped out in the morning. God's mercies will be new.
That's right.
And do the next right thing, dads. Man, I like it. It's a grind. It's a long game. You're looking forward to when they're 25, they're 30, not necessarily when they're 6. So yeah, that's good. Freemans, thank y'all. This has been fun.
Thank you.
It's been great.
So much fun.
Yeah.
I'm liking this microphone, Jen.
I know. Me too. I
You
think we
can't
should
take
get
it
some
with
of
you.
these at home.
No, it's been great. Thanks, Russell.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll do it again on the next episode of Epilogue.